Hi, it's Jonathan from Behind the Build, and I wanted to make you aware of a change. What you'll see in the title of the releases is Behind the Build AD and Behind the Build ID. Behind the Build AD is architectural design. Anything associated with architectural design will be released on Mondays. Behind the Build ID is interior design. Anything to do with interior design and its consultants will be released on Thursdays. I would ask kindly that as you hear this, if you could, to find the rating system in the format that you listen and consume Behind the Build, and please give it 5 stars. It helps us with overall engagement and visibility with a new audience. With that said, please enjoy today's episode. Welcome to Behind the Build. I'm your host, Jonathan Jacobs, and today I've got with me a gentleman who actually I connected with, 3 days ago?
Yeah.
3 days ago, and here we are recording, which was initially supposed to be an in-person recording, but unfortunately I fell ill and said, you know what, I don't think it's best that you show up to my house. So today I've got with me a gentleman who's running a small boutique practice here in Toronto, Canada. I've got with me Jason Fung from Jason Fung Architect. Jason, thanks for joining.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here.
So I actually been following Jason's work for the last couple of years while I've been running the podcast, and it's always been interesting to see his work. So I thought, you know what, let's get him on the podcast. So Jason, I ask everyone starting off with the beginning of their life, getting to know them and their interests from a young age. So what kind of child were you? Were you a scientific child? Were you an artistic child? What were you?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I would say I was a happy child.
Okay.
In terms of scientific or artistic, I mean, my parents certainly put me into a lot of stuff, a lot of different things. I had the art classes. In general, the sciences and maths were in school. But I think my parents believed it's like, why put him into more science and math when he's already getting that, but he's not getting a lot of arts stuff. So I had art classes, piano classes. So I got the art side outside of school.
Okay. Before we go any further, I want to pause just for a second because something that Jason's going to touch on later in this conversation really stood out to me. As his practice developed, Jason became very clear about what he wanted to avoid. He didn't want to be exceptionally good at just one typology of architecture. He saw firsthand how firms that focused too narrowly could struggle when markets shifted. So he built his studio to be resilient and diverse, working across education, single-family, multifamily, and commercial projects, giving his practice and his staff multiple ways to grow and stay supported. And that mindset is exactly why we work with the doors. They're not just a window and door company built around a single product line. They operate across vinyl and fiberglass, aluminum woodclad, steel, and fully custom systems. They design and install standard doors and highly customized assemblies, including curtain wall systems, curved glass, and oversized glazing where panels can reach 20 feet tall, 20 feet wide, and weigh over a ton. So it's not about checking a box. It's about having the technical depth and flexibility to serve multiple architectural contexts, scales, and performance requirements, residential, commercial, custom architectural applications. Just like a resilient design practice, the doors is built around range, adaptability, and clarity. Knowing what not to limit yourself to is just as important as knowing what you want to pursue. If you want to learn more about the doors, feel free to email me. It's Jonathan, JONATHAN, at waldenhomes.ca. But all right, let's get back to Jason's story. And what were the arts? Like what?
Oh, yeah. So visual arts. So I had an art teacher growing up.
Okay.
I had a piano teacher growing up. And I'd be drawing still life and things like that. Sculpture, watercolor, paint, whatever. It was basically either Saturday or Sunday school. I forget. It was like the morning of we would do that. And it'd be maybe an hour and a half.
Okay.
So long ago that's hard to remember. I just remember going to physically, it was like at a commercial store, and in the back, like an art supply store, and in the back they would have art classes. Okay. And then eventually that teacher ran it out of their basement. And so we just go to this house and 6 kids would just be drawing
And where was this? This is in Toronto?
It was in Toronto for a bit. It was in Scarborough. I grew up in Markham, and
Okay.
so for a bit, it was in where we were at the border of basically Toronto or Scarborough and Markham.
Okay.
And initially, it was like pretty close by. It was like 15 minutes from our house at the border of Markham
Yeah.
and Toronto. And then it moved out to Scarborough and came back to Scarborough. Same teacher. We just kind of followed her along in her real estate journey or house journey.
And were the same kids in the same class? Like everyone followed?
Essentially, yes. So I remember like the same three or four other kids that followed us, like went to the different locations, but then some tapered off. Like some because of location. I remember some kids. Yeah, it just changed.
Yeah.
But in general, it was like me, my sister, and then some family friends. Just a little group of us that would go. And there were other time slots too. So she had other students
Yeah.
at different times on the weekend kind of thing.
Okay.
And it was her weekend job. But yeah, she had a full time kind of not necessarily career. I think it was just more of a desk job that
Yeah.
she cared less
But
about. It just afforded
she
her
did a good
living.
enough job to keep you interested in wanting to follow her in different
Oh,
places.
big time. Yeah, yeah. And every couple of years we reconnect.
Okay.
Um, I haven't seen her in 2 years now, at least. But around actually, this is about the holiday season. We
Yeah.
would connect, and yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah,
Okay. So this carried through school and did you start taking art classes in all the way through from like elementary school, middle school, high school?
yeah. Essentially, all the way, yeah, all the way up until university. I did actually. Now that I mention it, like I did switch teachers when I was at the later part of university, just for
Okay.
portfolio. It just got to a more serious degree, and this other art teacher was a professor that was teaching graphic design for my sister. And so it was a little more serious of a teacher for portfolio development to get into architecture school, essentially. And so that was, I think, for a year and a half or 2 years. And then after that, I was in school. So I was in university.
And
Yeah.
were you also so it sounds like you're pretty close with your sister doing the different classes together.
We were, yeah. We were pretty close growing up, less so now.
That's okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's family.
Life.
But yeah, we were very close growing up. There's a 5 year age gap, so it was kind of cool that when she was in high school, I was in elementary school. I got to kind of see her stages.
Yeah.
When she was in university, I was in high school. I got to see like what's that kind of about.
Yep.
And then when she went to do a master's. She did it abroad. I got to see what like post graduate studies looks like, and so it was kind of a nice. I always got a window into that next phase.
Yeah.
It was super, super helpful.
Well, I mean, I could tell you that I have siblings that are 7, 9, and 11 years older than me.
Yeah, yeah,
So I can totally appreciate what you're saying in terms of watching the evolution of them go through what they're going through at a stage where you were
yeah,
so removed from it,
yeah, yeah.
right?
And
And
also, like any problem I was going through, like
yeah,
I was slightly bullied in elementary school. I was bullied in elementary school, but like seeing that's like, oh, there's high school, there's this other world
yes,
to look forward to, really helped. I think that kept me really like going to a
okay.
degree, you know. Yeah.
And so did you know that architecture was something you could study in school? Was it something that
Yeah,
people? Okay,
to my youngest, like I remember being like 6 or 7, and I'm sure there was some family member that implanted it. It's like, oh, maybe you be an architect kind of thing. Because I grew up saying, yeah, I want to be an architect. I had no idea what that was or whatever. Maybe it was a episode on Seinfeld, and as a joke, an aunt or an uncle's like, oh, Jason, maybe be an architect kind of thing. I'm like, oh, cool. Do buildings, essentially, design buildings.
Vanderlei
Um,
Industries.
yeah, exactly. Import, export, and architecture. So I bet there's some inception that happened as a kid.
Yeah,
But I certainly have like to my earliest memories wanting to be an architect. Played a lot of Lego, and just kind of spent hours in my room just like building stuff. And so
very cool.
yeah, it kind of seemed like a shoe in a way.
Okay. And so what led you to want to, I guess I don't know, I say this actually, maybe I'll rephrase this question. what did you determine you would want to put together for your portfolio if you knew that you
Mm.
wanted to do this?
Yeah. So I got really good advice that was like, don't draw buildings. Don't draw buildings in your portfolio. So it was, I mean, I enjoyed still life. I enjoyed the drawing like super hyper real, like using color pencils and drawing almost photorealistic. It would take days kind of thing. It would take forever. But I mean, that's what I did a lot of pencil crayon, a lot of watercolor I was not great at. It's just,
Yeah.
I don't have that subtle touch,
Yeah.
but pencil crayons, pastels, Conte, that kind of stuff. And I was given good advice. It's like, don't draw buildings because you'll learn that in school.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of just like animals and fruit
Yeah.
and flowers and
Learning proportion,
portion.
shading, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. From the natural world, essentially.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's a big chunk of that side of, yeah, I didn't draw buildings until university. There's no one in my family that is an architect. So I didn't know anything about the profession really. And I remember in grade 11 or 12, this guy Marson, he turned to me. He's like, do you know any software? I'm like, software? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just know that this is what I want to do. I don't even know what it is, but this is what I've been saying since I was like 6 years old, kind of thing. And he's like, do you know AutoCAD? And I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, to me, that was a bunch of sounds that he made. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. So, yeah, it was a real kind of splash in the face when went into school. Luckily, though, I was in university at the tail end of an old program at,
Okay.
then it was Ryerson, is TMU now.
Yeah.
And so they were teaching manual drafting until like first year and second year was full hand drafting. So there was some cushion before we started going into the computer.
Cool. I actually didn't even, I don't know that I've spoken about that with someone else where they said that they were on the tail end of this.
Yeah.
I've spoken to so many people about this stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, did you know that this is where you want to go? How did you decide where you want to apply?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I applied to the typical universities in Ontario. I mean, largely that was economic based. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't grow up with a heck of a lot. I mean, my parents poured in as much as they could into my upbringing,
Yeah.
but largely middle class family,
Yeah.
Markham kind of thing.
Yeah.
Single income. My dad worked. My mom was stay at home mom.
Yeah.
So yeah, we wanted to Ontario University. Great, you get a great level of education
Yeah.
for a fraction of the cost, essentially.
Yeah.
And so I applied to Waterloo, Carleton, U of T. I applied to their arts management program just
Yeah.
as a left field, like who knows.
Yeah.
And then York Sheridan, I applied to my sister's program, which was the graphic design. They have a joint graphic design program, and then TMU Ryerson for architecture. I didn't get into. My top choice was Waterloo, and I didn't get into that. They got me into some other architecture appreciation with a massive
Stream.
scholarship thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It's not my goal, right? So
Yeah.
I wanted architecture.
Yep.
I think it ended up being. I think the TMU program really suited me anyway. You know, I think I wouldn't have been a great fit at Waterloo anyway. So kind of is a blessing in disguise. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you went in for your first day and you started to meet the people that were at the program,
Yeah.
what was it like?
It was
Was there-
Candyland, man. It was Disney World. Like up until that point, like you go through elementary school and high school liking a lot of things. For me, at least, I enjoyed arts and sciences and the maths. I was this weird, like there was the people that were in the music department and they were like music people kind of thing. And there was the people that were in the math department and they were in the math club and there were those guys in high school. I kind of went through all like I was in the friend group of all of them, kind of this intersect of all of them,
Yeah.
but I didn't really ever fit in. I was always like the bottom of the top 25% for the math. I was like the bottom of the top 20. Like I was like, I just made the cut to be
you were
pretty
fringe.
good. Yeah. Right. So I was like, yeah, I was on the fringe. So like, but then going like the first day of university, it was like everyone was kind of like me. I was like, oh, you guys all have varying enjoyments of multifaceted things.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Like the world kind of opening up that there's other people that enjoy lots of things.
Yeah. That are like-minded, right? That you can
Yeah.
you can connect with on different levels, but also on the same main level. That is what you want to go pursue.
Yeah.
I say that only because of what you mentioned before about being in middle school and getting bullied, and now all of a sudden you
Yeah.
kind of like have this arrival.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like, oh man, this is like all of a sudden I felt like I belonged, you know?
And so, what did that feel
Yeah.
like? Like, what were like some of the first assignments you had to do as a group project? Did you feel like this was one of the first times where you didn't have to pull all the weight? Because I feel like, based on what you
Yeah.
were describing previously in high school or junior high school, you might have were you that guy or
No,
no?
no, yeah, yes and no. I mean, I think in elementary school I was,
Okay,
just because I think, I mean, in general, elementary school, the cool kids were playing basketball, especially for it was very male, female, and like the guys were the jocks and the girls were the studious ones. And
yeah,
I'm the one that like I enjoyed like academia. I enjoyed like studying for like learning stuff.
yeah.
So like, and it never fit in elementary school. And what was my point about that? I don't even remember.
We're talking about like being the guy that was like the
Oh,
one
right. Yeah. So I would
wanted
carry.
to push something forward.
Yeah, yeah. So in elementary school, yeah, totally. I would like kind of steamroll a project. It would be like five people, and I would just like take over and just do it all, and then everyone gets an
Nice.
okay grade kind of thing.
Yeah.
In high school, less so, like because I actually went to two different high schools, but one was very arts centric with good maths and sciences.
Okay.
Everyone pulled their weight. It's just no one was like particularly multifaceted in that way.
Okay.
Like there was more of people who were more specialists. Like I could tell it's like, oh, you guys are gonna be doctors and you guys will be in sciences, you guys will be in arts. Like it was very much not pigeonholed, but like my different friends groups, they were very much into what they were into.
Okay.
So I didn't have to carry anything. Like in high school, it was pretty cool. Like I just, you know, was a group player in group projects.
Yep.
And then, yeah, in undergrad, yeah, it was awesome. Everyone kind of pulled their weight, and there was some, of course, in every class. There's some
Yeah.
guys that
Sure.
were a little less so, people, not, and
So
I just didn't associate with them.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
So what for you, what were some of the key components that you felt like when you were in school that really helped kind of shape some of the newfound learning that you've taken with you since then? Were there any
yeah.
like were there two or three different things that you feel you really gained, whether it was like an art of the craft or a methodology that you use on implementing with your staff at your
Yeah,
practice? Like
yeah.
what were a few of the core takeaways?
Like, there's a few things that come to mind because there's the high stress environment of architecture school.
Yeah.
And in that stressful environment, you're in production mode, you're trying to do stuff. The unfortunate side of that is you can't just be doing all the time. Like your best ideas come from being in the shower or like the moments of rest or the moments of not specifically zen, but like those unexpected moments where you're at rest, the best ideas come. But
Yeah.
you have to somehow build that into your schedule so that you allow for that to happen. Because if you're in full production mode all the time, you're just going to design boxes and like, who cares? Like there's no joy in that. And
Yeah.
there's like the creativity, just, you lose that spark. You're just drawing stuff. So I remember, I think it was like first year, second year, it kind of hit me. I was like, my best stuff happens when I'm like not crunching. So I need to find a way to like just sit in the library and like sit in the stacks and just go through stuff and like have those kind of moments. So that was kind of a methodology. Like with my staff, I feel like I'm pretty good with keeping it 9 to 6. That's our working hours. After that, it's like I want them to live a life. I want them to go out and like have life stuff. And that came from university too. Is like I met really cool people that are my lifelong friends that I'm very close with, and they just did whatever they lived life. They're like Thursday night, Friday night, we're gonna party hard and we're gonna enjoy stuff and be on the town, and then come the weekend or whatever, where like we have to work on studio projects and things like that, we're gonna work hard and crunch as hard as we can, and then do weird hobbies. Like some of my friends are huge into like BMX biking back then. Some of them are into photography. Some of them are into paint, and like so they also spent time doing this other stuff that was just life for them. Yeah, it was there's an education that's not really part of the education that was like how to live life as a professional that is trying to advise other clients about how to live life. So yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I run my practice that way too. I try to have my staff not be wigged out. I try to center it around joy and like, this is a job, like our architects, this is a job. It's not it's our life, but at the same time, it's a job. So clock out, recover your batteries, recharge your batteries, go for dinner, enjoy movies, do whatever it is your hobbies are, and then come back kind of refreshed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's interesting you would say that because not everyone I speak to has that same level of perspective on what the profession is or what
Mhm.
life can be
Yeah.
with some level a semblance of balance.
Yeah.
It's a hard
Or
thing.
or juggling. Put it that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Juggling things.
fair.
It's not terribly profitable to do it this way. Like if the mission of the firm is to make money, this is not the way to do it. Because then it would be about efficiency and clocking in and out and getting projects done and all that kind of stuff. I think it's more important to have staff have autonomy, to take their vacation, to have their life, to go places and all that stuff. And if I give them enough autonomy to manage their projects and to manage the clients that are signed with them, they will take responsibility for that stuff. It's
Yeah,
like
and accountability. Yeah, yeah,
accountability is
yeah,
is huge. So,
yeah.
and even though we're young, we're all adults here. There's like people take responsibility for their stuff. So there's no need for me to be like up in their grill, like micromanaging something. It's yeah.
So
Nor do I want to be that.
in your balance and what you describe as some concept of what you want to define as balance or juggling between university or even prior to and now, had you had the opportunity to go out and see any parts of the world? Have you done any, be able to
Oh
do
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
travel?
enjoy travel. Yeah,
What
I
and
enjoy travel,
what's that
and
been like? Where have you gone? What have you seen? What have been some of the places that you've seen that have really stuck out
yeah,
in your mind?
yeah.
What's that look
I
like?
so back to like my parents, middle income, but they did want for my sister and I to have a leg up in society. So I think it was the last year of elementary school. They're like, we're gonna go to London, Paris. That's like the beginner's guide to Europe kind of thing. And so in the summer we did, I think it was like maybe 2 weeks kind of thing, and like for them is a lot of money like to put into a vacation. We could just drive to like
Yeah,
Niagara Falls or something for
yeah.
a fraction of the cost. That was pretty eye-opening seeing Europe for the first time. I guess that would have been 25 years ago, whatever it is. And then from there, it's like you do the Europe bit. So then my sister got the bug and she studied in Scotland. And so every summer, while I was in undergrad and she was doing her master's, I got to fly and have a home base. And then you do the Ryanair thing. So I got to see like Austria, Germany, Portugal, Italy, Greece. Like you can easily get around Europe. And basically every summer I was doing that.
Wow.
And then
Very cool.
yeah, you get used to the European thing, and then you go, okay, well now what's next? And there's Asia and South America. So I think it was 2009. My sister was like, I want to go to Peru. I want to do Machu Picchu.
Hold on,
Uh,
before you go to Machu Picchu in Peru, because like that's something unto itself.
yeah.
Curiosity always has me asking this question. As you travel through these different countries within Europe, can you recall one of the most unexpectedly delicious meals that you had?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh God, there are so many. Well, I mean, the first thing is like, I mean, so I remember seeing, I think it was Bill Burr that talked about it. It's like you eat a tomato in Europe, and it's like, what the hell is this? It's incredible. Like everything tasted better. I think it was. I remember as a kid when we did the London Paris thing, and we had a sandwich at Marks and Spencer. It was like off the shelf sandwich, and it was more delicious than anything I'd ever eaten up until that point in my life. And I mean, like I've had like my parents are from Hong Kong. We have Chinese food and stuff. Like this was like. It's like they used herbs and stuff. It was great. So that's like the intro. Is like, oh my god, everything is so much more delicious.
Yeah.
There was a time where we went to I know so I went to Venice in undergrad, and I had a really great meal. I can't remember the restaurant, but we knew a local there. My professor knew a local there that they connected us and sent us to a local restaurant, and we had the squid ink pasta, and it was so good. It just had a hit of a little bit of cheese. It was like really, really just simple and good.
Okay.
I can't, yeah, like there's too many to count. Put it that way.
I
Yeah.
look. whenever I've asked this question before, I get a lot of the same response.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, the joy of it is it gives you an opportunity to think back on some of those things, like
Yeah.
having if you were in like somewhere and you had like a bratwurst and it was like just on the
Yes.
side of
So
the road
good.
and it was
Yeah.
delicious, like
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah.
First time having like beer in Czechoslovakia or
Yeah.
Portuguese wine,
Yeah.
Italian wine. I don't know,
Yeah, and all those like
right?
it's there's so many to choose from. Like even just a pretzel, even a pretzel in Berlin or actually we just came back from Paris. We were in Paris about a month ago. And I basically was just doing a croissant a day. Like it was like my per diem
It was a
because
croissant tour.
yeah, like every day it's just like I will have a croissant. And it's and it's just better. I don't know how to explain it. Like even the best croissant places in Toronto still can't own up to like a little boulangerie in Paris. That's just like at the corner of wherever,
Okay.
you know.
So then
So
the next question that piggybacks off this one is, do you have recollection of having any one of these meals while being able to take in a site that to you still stands out as being one of the strongest symbols of high quality architecture in your mind?
like while eating,
Yeah, like if you had a coffee or
oh,
having a meal, even if it was like the interior of the restaurant that you were in, is there a place that stands out from any of these trips?
it's hard because there is a lot of travel there.
I know.
It's hard
I
to
know.
pick. One moment, I mean, this is a moment that doesn't include food,
That's
but
fair. Then leave it.
I
Then leave food out of it.
yeah, like seeing the Taj Mahal is actually something kind of incredible. I can't. It's hard to explain the scale of that thing and seeing it from afar and the approach. There's a lot of tourists, but I mean, the approach, the Taj Mahal is a very specific thing. Actually, I could go even to Varanasi. We were on the River Ganga or the Ganges River,
Yeah.
anglicized English. No food involved, although India was delicious. But just seeing the steps into the river and like the animation of the people, the colors, it was daybreak. It was the sun was coming up and it was hitting everything. It was that will stick with me for the rest of my life. Is pretty incredible as built context. There's a lot. There's a lot. It's
It's hard to try to encapsulate it.
hard to encapsulate. Yeah, I feel like I'm put on the spot here.
Well, I mean that.
No,
Welcome,
yeah,
welcome to Behind the Build.
yeah. Um,
There's something that Jason talks about later in this conversation that really connects to the way that Kaplan's appliances shows up for our industry. Early in his practice, Jason made a very deliberate decision to invest his own savings into renovating his parents' home. He wanted to create something architecturally meaningful, not just for them, but as a way of putting good work into the world. He understood that what you put in is often what comes back to you, and that intention matters. That philosophy is very much aligned with how Kaplan's operates. Kaplan's does not simply just sell appliances. They consistently put value into the industry through education, conversation, and relationship building. Their masterclass series brings together designers, architects, builders, and business leaders to talk openly about design strategies, business development, best practices in social media and operations, and the realities of running creative practices. These are not sales pitches, they are forums for shared knowledge and meaningful connection. By putting that kind of good into the industry, Kaplan's builds powerful long term relationships. And when it comes time to specify appliances, you are working with people who are deeply informed, technically fluent, and genuinely invested in the outcome. Whether it's Sub Zero, Wolf, Miele, Fisher and Paykel, Jenner, Lacorno, DCS, or beyond, they understand their product lines at a level that supports real design intent. Much like Jason's approach to his parents' renovation, Kaplan's understands that the heart of the home often lives in the kitchen. It is where shared experiences happen, where meals are made, and where memories are built. Supporting that properly takes care, knowledge, and intention. If you want to learn more and get connected to Kaplan's, feel free to email me. It's Jonathan, JONATHAN at waldenhomes.ca. For now, let's get back to Jason. But
so many.
so then here's another perspective of the same question. What about flying into any one of these cities from above? Because at that point,
Oh
and I've
yeah,
never actually asked this question to anyone,
yeah,
but you're flying in and you're looking down and you can see,
yeah.
you can see,
The big one is Lisbon. So Lisbon's airport is shockingly close to the city center. And
okay,
when you fly in, you are like meters from the buildings. You're like crazy. Like, and when you're in Lisbon, you just see this, you just see the airplane. They're super close to everything because it's landing right in the core, essentially. It's pretty cool.
okay.
There's something very cool about that. Pretty weird to experience it. Like, you can see it now with Google Satellite and stuff. It's like Google
Yeah,
Earth. But back then,
but
there's nothing like
the
that.
image from above looks two dimensional until you start getting close, and then all of a
But
sudden
yeah, it's
perspective
like,
changes and it becomes three
yeah,
dimensional, right?
yeah, it's
And
pretty wild.
yeah, it's like these buildings are almost like being grown out of the ground,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah, yeah,
I say
it's
this as I've
something.
never been to Europe. I mean, yeah,
You gotta go. You
I
gotta
know,
go,
I know,
man.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Okay, so we're gonna hop on. We're actually let's swim across the ocean, and now we're
Yep.
going to Peru. And you were saying
Yeah,
you
yeah. So
Machu Picchu.
that was the gateway drug into South America was Peru.
Oh, you were talking
Like,
about Amsterdam.
yeah, no, yeah. Yeah. Amsterdam was an experience in itself, but I'll
We'll
be for
leave that
another
alone.
podcast, I
Okay,
guess.
okay.
Yeah,
Peru.
yeah. That red light district is something strange. But no, Peru, so we did a 4-day trek to Machu Picchu, or 3.5 day. It was for the high altitude, so the altitude is quite high in Cusco.
Yeah.
It's actually a little lower in Machu Picchu, but I felt the high altitude sickness pretty seriously. So that trek was pretty tough, but that's also a pretty life. That's a life experience I will carry throughout my life. I mean, there was like two retired 65-year-olds at the front of the pack, and they kept giving me support. They're like, "You could do this," and because they had acclimatized, they had been there for a couple days. We landed and had, I think, a day and a half, and then we did the trek kind of thing. Ooh, my heart was racing. It was hard. That was through the in the face of adversity, getting through that.
How many days is was
It's a
the
4-day trek. It's a
4 days?
4-day trek. Yeah, it's a Machu Picchu. There are porters. There are people that
Oh,
carry
I know.
my bags. So it's like it's just my body weight and like my SLR, my SLR camera. And it's like that's what I'm hauling is basically nothing. And it was hard. It was a tough time.
And they also
So
do some pretty cool Peruvian meals on the
yeah,
trip as
yeah.
well.
Along the way, they cook these porters. They skip ahead of you, set up the camp for you to arrive, and the food is ready. And like we ate wonderfully. I didn't have much of an appetite. I still shoveled food into my face because you need the caloric. You need
Yeah, the
energy for the
input.
next
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
It was delicious, but I remember feeling so sick that I was like, I just got to eat. I got to But the food smelled delicious. It like
And then you
yeah.
arrive to the top
It
of
was
this mountain,
Yeah, it was pretty majestic because
and there's this structure there that is like, how
yeah,
is this here?
yeah, it's pretty wild and it's in the clouds too. So there are also other mountains nearby, and you see them poke through the clouds. It's kind of like there's a scene in Avatar where they're like in the floating mountains kind of thing. It's kind of like that. It's you're above the clouds and you have this landscape, and then you have the structure. You have this ancient kind of civilization structure that's there. It's pretty wild. It's pretty cool.
So okay,
So.
so this is you're experiencing all of this during the course of undergrad or at the end of undergrad?
This was 2009. This was after graduating from
Yeah.
undergrad.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what was your first gig out of gig?
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying it like your musician.
Yeah, yeah.
What was your
No,
first practice that you
so
worked
I landed a co-op placement in high school in
at?
grade 10 or grade
Oh,
11. They were redoing the architecture firm Robbie Young Wright, which got taken over by
yes.
IBI,
Yeah.
which now became Arcadis.
Yeah.
They're the original designers of the Sky Dome, the Rogers
Yeah.
Center,
Yeah.
first retractable roof in the world. So pretty cool firm. They were designing. They do lots of institutional projects. They were designing the high school that I was at, and it was almost done. On the heels of being done, the co-op teacher was like, "Oh, we know these architects. If you want to be an architect, you should do a placement there." And they set me up, and I did a semester essentially going in. I don't remember. It felt daily, but I could be wrong. It could have been every 2 days or 3 days.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I got to see a firm. I got to draft some stuff too. They put me on a computer too to do some like little
In
sketches
high
that I'm
school.
sure they never used. Yeah, I'm sure no one used any of that. But then I also did like I helped cut display boards like foam core boards. I made coffee. I assembled some like task chairs. I remember that. I remember like Robbie was still alive. I assembled his task chair. He passed away early 2000 somewhere in there, maybe 2007 or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, nice guy. And from that, I made connections with I think a handful of people that I still every so often I keep in touch with. It's been a few years, but I send them holiday cards anyway. And when I was in undergrad, I was in third year. I went to a lecture series at TMU and or Ryerson,
Yeah.
and they happened to be there. About 4 or 5 of them were there, and I was like, "Hey, do you remember me? I like a few years back we were at this thing," and they're like, "Oh, we're at this other firm now, Pellow and Associates, which now WZMH took over." And they're like, "We're at this place, Pellow. We're doing the shops at Don Mills, like that." At the time, it was being under permanent review, or on the hinges of permanent review. They needed more staff to keep drafting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so they connected me into that world. And I had a summer internship that summer, third year, working there. And then so that was my first job out of undergrad. When I in fourth year, I graduated. I was like, "Hey, would you have me back?" They're like, "Yeah, come on down." Then it was 2008. Essentially, 2008 hit, and like economy like tanked, and no
Right.
one was building shopping malls. This firm
Right.
only did shopping malls, so I got laid off. But yeah, that's kind of the my intro into it
And
was
and so
yeah.
what did you do when you got laid off? I mean, there's a sense of
I went to Peru, man.
oh,
So
that's what you did.
so I got like I didn't get there was a small severance. It was very kind. I was there a short time, and they then I was on employment insurance because I was like I worked enough to qualify for it,
Yeah.
and I was like my employment insurance was basically what I was getting paid. So I basically had months of what I was being paid without doing any work, which was awesome. So I saved some of it, and I was like, we're going to Peru. We're doing this trip. So that's actually what funded that trip.
I mean, what a great way to also reset, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Head
And at
down,
the same
head.
time, I'd planned to do my master's, so it was like all kind of stars aligning in that way.
So is that what you did? You came back and you went and started your master's?
Yeah. So I'd already applied to my master's. I'd already gotten in, and then I was laid off. Part of it was actually I let Harry Pello know early. I was like, "Oh, I got in," and he's like, "Uh huh." He was already planning layoffs, so he did me a favor. He's like, "You know what? Let's cut you loose now. You can get employment insurance. You'll get a severance. You'll have a great summer kind of thing." And so that was really nice. And then I did some travel, and then I came back and I like hit the ground running with my postgraduate education. Yeah.
And where did you do it?
I also Ryerson.
Ryerson. Okay.
I did the 1-2 punch again. It came down to economics. Like
Yeah.
my parents at this point they're like trying to pay off some heavy debts, like seriously heavy debts, and so I didn't have the luxury of just choosing to go to
Yeah.
any university. And also, I mean, I'm a humble guy. I don't think I would have gone into any of those universities anyway. So I think Ivy League would have been out of my reach
Well, I mean,
financially and academically.
I got to
So
say, like, I don't know that everyone's always so open about that kind of thing. And I think it's important for people to understand that it doesn't really matter in some capacity, as amazing as it could be to have a degree or master's, a master's degree from some
yeah,
special
from fancy
university.
school. Yeah,
It's great. Okay. It's great. You get to say that
yeah,
you went there, but ultimately what you do with practice is what matters.
yeah. Well,
Right.
the student makes the education.
Yeah.
What I will say though is if I had gone to a highbrow university, I'm going to call that Ivy
Yeah.
League or something like that, I probably would have been connected to a world of wealth that might resonate through time. Essentially, like I might connect with someone that owns
Maybe.
Coca-Cola or something, and
Yeah.
then there's
Maybe.
a bunch of projects for the future.
Maybe not.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Right.
But that's my
Um,
guess. There's a benefit to that side of things. At the same time, there's a debt that comes with. So
yes.
yeah, yeah.
So okay, so you finished your master's program, and then
Yep.
what did you do?
So I wanted the small firm experience. At the time during my master's, I was freelancing for a small firm called AGATHOM.
Yep.
It's a husband and wife team, really
Oh, I
great
know
firm. You
Adam.
should, yeah, Adam is awesome. Adam and Kaja are
Adam and I have
wonderful.
become very friendly, so I'll even say
Yeah.
hi to Adam right now because I know
Yes,
that he
please.
listens to this.
He's the best. Adam is the best, and Kaj is the best.
Yeah,
They
Katya's
have
great. Yeah,
they have two wonderful kids.
yeah.
They're probably grown in university now. So, but yeah, I was doing some part time stuff for them, and then it rolled into a full time position. And I think they were stretching. I think they couldn't actually afford to keep me on. They were just being very gracious because the economy wasn't great at that time either. This is like 20, I want to say 2011 or 2012 in that zone.
Yeah, it was coming back,
It was
coming
coming
back
back.
from recession.
This
Yeah,
kind of recession was coming
yeah,
back. So I got to work there for a bit, and it was a great experience because it's like they're artists. They are true,
yeah.
like they live and breathe architecture, unlike what I could. Like I love it, but at the same time, I turn off at night. It's like, I'm watching a movie or,
Yeah.
kicking back. They live and breathe it big time. And I saw it firsthand. It was awesome. We did awesome long days. It was like that kind of 16-hour, like sometimes 18-hour grind of projects and stuff. It was so awesome. It was like a real studio in that sense. And then I learned the side of like how to host and how to like they knew how to intake clients and host them like guests to their home versus where I worked at before. It's like a client would come and it's like you offer them waters and it's like not like these are your paying clients. Like you could do better to host proper. They would get the best pastries and like have the nicest coffee and the nicest what like yeah. I learned a lot of soft skills from the firm on top of like how to think of things. They were very clear about designing the way they design things and how to think of spaces and they really approached it as sculptors as sculptors. So
Well, so it's funny because so Adam and I have
yeah.
become very friendly over the last, I don't know, year and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
we text frequently. To be honest, I
Oh,
was
that's great.
texting just now, and his response was talking about you, saying, "Oh, he's a bundle of joy."
Yeah, I try to be a
So,
firecracker and a bundle of joy. Like they're the best. Like Adam and Kaja were so awesome. And
and funnily enough, actually, when I went to meet with them at their office, I brought them. You talk about pastries. I brought them some pastries and coffee.
yeah,
So just
yeah,
coincidentally.
yeah,
So
it's awesome.
okay, so this you move past there. So at what point then do you have something else between then and your
Yeah, yeah, of course,
practice?
of course. So, so there was they were very kind. I was going through some difficult times as well. We
Yeah,
had a lunch, and we're like, listen, like it's not working out economically, but also we could tell you're going through there's some family
yeah,
drama
yeah,
at
yeah.
the time, and so we amicably had to part ways. There, it's basically a layoff, but they were so kind about it. So I was out of a job that Christmas, that kind of December zone.
Yeah.
And then I had a friend working just doing condos, straight condos up in Vaughan. That company is Alan Tregebov Architect. He's still around. I actually saw him like a month and a half ago at OEA at a not the
Just
OEA conference.
PSA.
One of the Certainty. Certainty does a symposium for
Okay.
basically we get continuing education hours and then they put together a pretty good dinner afterwards, which I
Okay.
couldn't attend. But anyway, I saw him. This is right before the Blue Jays
Oh,
their big run. Anyway, and so I did condos for like 2 years. I didn't love it, but at the same time, it's an experience. Even bad experience, like experience of that nature, I didn't. It's not really my calling, but at the same time, you get good at it. So it's like any condo, it's like 7 floor plates essentially, and you figure out just for where the transfers are, like where ducts have to transfer, where structure has to transfer. And it's actually kind of a piece of cake. It's pretty easy. So we got really good at that. And then I was like, you know what, I gotta move back to a smaller outfit. So from Alan Tregebov's office, I quit after about 2 and a bit years. It might have been 3 years, I can't remember.
yeah,
And then I moved to Studio JCI. They were in a transition period. They were like 5 people at the time, and
yeah,
now they're like 40. They're huge. And
yeah.
back then it used to be called JCI Architects. They rebranded to Studio JCI, and it's a husband and wife team. There's a lot of husband and wife teams in my past. And they ran an outfit. They did these beautiful houses in Leaside, and they were transitioning to doing mid-rise to larger projects, and that's where my hire came in. They're like, oh, this guy just did condos for like 3 years. We can pull that experience.
Yep.
And so that's why I came in, but I was hoping to do the smaller projects essentially. Anyway, so their portfolio started building of larger projects. We did a bunch of beautiful mid-rise things on Yonge Street and
Yeah, and they did
some things
townhomes
out.
and stuff too.
Yeah, they did townhome. We did some townhouses in Queen Street East,
Yeah,
some on Bloor Street, like all over. They started to really kind of build up their portfolio.
yeah.
And then after about two and a bit years, maybe 3 years there, I was like, it's time for me to start my own thing. Like,
And was it something that you
learn
had
a
always
lot.
been
And
feeling that you wanted to do?
I think so. I think at that point I'd seen the gamut. I've seen like things I liked and didn't like at different firms.
Yeah,
I saw the husband and wife team. In my head, I was like, I don't want that. Like, I want to unplug at the end of the night. So I want a partner or a life partner that isn't talking architecture all day. So at that moment in time, when I started my firm, my then girlfriend, who's not in architecture, it was getting serious to a degree. And it's like, oh, I think I found the right fit here. I'm very comfortable at my work. I kind of have seen how the kind of business runs and different sizes. I had a vision for it in a way. And so, yeah, it was a performance review, and then we talked it out, and I was like, you know what, honestly, I'm thinking of starting my own thing. And they were super supportive. They're like, that's great. We know it's really tough. Let us know what you need to help support you along that journey, because they've been through it. Basically,
yeah.
10 years before that, they went through it. So,
Wow.
and
Wow.
then that was 2016, mid 2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was then 20 just after this that you ended up going and registering yourself as a business.
That's right. Yeah. Articles of incorporation, a certificate of practice. It's funny. I remember the day I stopped working for a firm, all of a sudden I was like, I have 24 hours to myself to do whatever I wanted to. And it's like in that day, I built the website, wrote the business plan, got like started with articles of incorporation with the lawyer. Like, it was like, I was like, oh my God, I got so much done. It's crazy.
In a day.
In a day. It's like when you have 24 hours to yourself, all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, that's technically 3 days worth of hours. That's like 8 hours, 8 hours there. Like I could do so much. And so that was a pretty
And
wild first
did
week.
did you have a business coach to help you through any of this?
So there is a thing called Starter Company.
Okay.
It's an Ontario grant program that's run through different municipalities.
Okay.
I don't know if it still exists or if it's been changed to some other thing, but they essentially say back then it was like, we'll give you $5,000 as capital startup money. Your job then is to show up for these classes that are run through. At the time, I was living in Markham. I was living out of my parents' basement.
Yeah.
And so City of Markham is like in our business unit or whatever, they have a building. You come to these classes every day or every week or whatever it is. We'll teach you about payroll, accounting, business stuff, elevator pitches, all that kind of stuff. And then after that period, for 6 months, every month, you're going to see a mentor, a business mentor of some kind, and talk about your journey and where you're tracking in terms of the business. So I was like, you're going to give me money to do courses? I'll have to take that. So I applied, I got in, and yeah, like that gave me some startup capital to, get some stuff together.
Well, I was going to say the basics of
Computer,
paying a lawyer to be able to review articles
yeah,
of incorporation,
to start that stuff up and
filing.
like buy
Yeah.
a website and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kickstarted that, and then they give you this spreadsheet of like, this is your capital startup. This is how much you need to make every month to like balance things out. It was really cool. It was like great program to kickstart business. So
Interesting.
yeah. Whoever's listening should definitely, if it's still around, should definitely look into it if you want to run a business, because yeah,
Say the
give
name
me
again.
some perspective. Yeah.
What was the name of it?
Starter Company. It was the
Starter
Starter Company grant.
Okay.
I don't know if it still exists. I hope it does, because
That's okay. Well, the benefits to those listening right now is that if you don't already have one, it's worth looking at a GPT or a Gemini account and going and researching the ways that you can start your own practice if you're interested in wanting to do it. But what I can tell you is that creating the framework of it is not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Mainly because you're not taught most of that in school.
Yeah. And you can get scammed left, right, and center in so many ways.
Right.
I certainly got scammed. Like someone reached out to me about writing a business plan. And I was like, well, how much is it gonna cost and all this kind of stuff. And in the end, I think I paid them like 2 grand, and I got this kind of BS business plan of, garbage in, garbage out kind of thing.
Yeah,
I got scammed so many ways starting this thing out. So yeah, it happens.
it does.
Yeah.
Oh, but look, you're still there. So what did it look like being able to acquire the first couple of projects, and what do those projects look like?
Right. So I network like crazy, and the
What
thing
and
is
what does that
going.
mean? What when you say
Yes,
network, what did you do?
I was doing like these breakfast meetings with these kind of. There's these meeting groups that exist. You can look them up, and they have these like 7 a.m. meetings to just network with other businesses that aren't you. So if they already have a dentist and you're a dentist practice, you're not allowed to be in this group kind of thing. And so there's that. I sent out mailers and emails and whatever posts to all my friends who are all working in the industry, letting them know I've started a practice, message all my family. Like I basically just told
Blitz.
everyone I knew,
Yeah.
and then I just showed up to all sorts of weird networking rep events, whatever kind of weird events, and just handed out business cards, essentially old school. I just tried some ads as well later on, but that was the start. And what happened is because I was out early on my doing my own thing, most of my friends are moonlighting. Like most of my friends are working an intermediate to almost senior position in a firm, but they're
Yep.
probably not making enough money, so they're moonlighting, doing something. And a lot of them were like, I've got a potential house project that I can't do. Like it's too big for me to chew. Talk to Jason. So my first project,
No way.
my first real project was a rear addition to a house for it was one of a friend of a friend's that was
Yeah. Don't.
moonlighting, and it was
Yeah.
like they
Don't.
couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
Please don't go names.
Yeah, yeah. Like they couldn't do it. And it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, no problem. I'll do it. And I think we got paid maybe 3 grand. I got paid like 3 grand to do this rear addition master bedroom above their existing kitchen on the main floor. And that was 2016, 2000. It was built in 2017, essentially. Yeah, it's wild. And they found a contractor who did it for, I think it was like 50 grand. It was like super cheap, kept it
Still
simple.
standing.
Still standing, still great. No, it actually looks pretty good.
Okay.
Sometimes it shows up in the portfolio if it's a budget project. If it's a client that wants a budget project, it's like, well, yeah, we've done it. You can do it. It comes at great sacrifice in many ways. But they got their master bedroom. It has a wicked view to the city. All the houses in that row that have a second floor master bedroom addition has 2 steps up to it from the second floor. Theirs is flat. Theirs is like there's no steps, and that was our I was like, if we get this, we win. And we got it. I worked out all the structure, worked out like the builder was like, I want to put 2 steps here. You're like, absolutely not. You're not going to cop out. We're going to do this. They have a nice flat surface on the second floor. So we won. We got it. Yeah.
And that was your first project.
My first project, that was the
And
first Christmas card or holiday card that went out. Like that project was the centerpiece for the holiday card.
and you got paid. Like you got paid for
Yeah,
your
they were
first
great.
project. Like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
the reality of being able to go out and do it on your own became
Yeah.
very real, very quick.
Yeah. Well, that was the first client project. The first project was my family home. It was a kitchen and bathroom renovation. And the thought process behind that is the first project, I believe the first project for a firm should be your own personal project because all ideas from that project will permeate into every project from that point forward. So if my first project was a client and that client loves crown molding and I don't care much for it, crown molding might exist in the next 50 projects based on those photographs, based on like other clients will be like, oh, we love this. Can you do more of that? And it's like, well, that's actually what my client loves. It's not what we love doing kind of thing. So it was really important that I put together my life savings and was like to my mom and dad, I'm like, we're going to renovate the kitchen. We're going to renovate the powder room of our house. And that was actually project one. And
It,
that took me through 2016, essentially.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. And my
So
buddy and I built it. My buddy lived in the basement and he was my contractor and I paid him cash and I built it with him. Yeah. So there's some things in that house that could be yeah, it's a little DIY, but it turned out really nice. So
is the
that's what
is
matters.
that project still on the website?
Yeah, it actually is. It actually is. It's the Markham home. Not a lot of people will know that. Maybe family and friends, but yeah, it's the oldest, like if you scroll all the way bottom
Yeah,
to
yeah, I
the,
see it now.
yeah, the green tile that
Yeah.
like that green tile was like $100 a square foot. It was handmade from heath tile in San Francisco. God, that was expensive, but worth it, worth
Yeah.
it. And yeah, that was a project one. I wanted
Okay.
something modern. I didn't want a dark kitchen, but at the same time, it has to match the old Chinese furniture of my parents. So
Yeah.
there's a semblance of matching something with clients. And anyway, yeah,
Well, okay. So,
yeah,
at that point, I mean, because I think what you're describing here also is something that's kind of interesting, and that is, not being pigeonholed into a certain typology,
yep,
right? That you don't want that. You want to be able to show some level of diversification in what you do,
yeah,
and
100%.
put out what you want to be designing.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
if you think about the history, so I worked at Pellow that exclusively did shopping malls, and then there was a recession, and they cut literally half the staff that night.
yeah,
Then I worked at AGATHOM, who did exclusively residential, and when the recession hit, they were like, "What are we gonna like? How do we survive?" So I'm like, so when I crafted this practice, I'm like, it has to be diverse. Like we have to find a way to weather the recession storms. And if I specialize, I'm going to be in big trouble. So it was really important from the start of this to be like, let's be client driven. Let's take their ideas and make the most beautiful version of that.
yeah.
But we're going to work on anything that comes our way. Like, we've done like bathrooms in like I've done bathrooms in a churros stop, like a churros walk-in pickup spot. And, like these smallest little things we'll work on. We're a little more selective now that we've got a portfolio, but
Yeah.
like I think diversity is in my DNA for it. I believe there's a business case for it. I don't have any hard metrics, but I just know that if I specialize, I might be in trouble later on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And so then when did have you stopped going to these breakfast clubs?
Yeah, yeah, I do less of that now. It's a lot of referral.
Yeah.
It's a lot of other people saying, "Oh, we liked working with them," or "They were okay." The bar, like between you and me and whoever's listening, the bar is relatively low for architectural services. Like we got design stuff, but I saw how certain firms treated their clients, and I was like, "Oh, we don't have to be, we don't have to be like top level Hilton, like we don't have to be like up there providing the services." So I'm like, if I can do better, if I can provide services where we do like nice things and we're nice with the clients, it should work out. It should be fine.
And so,
That too, it's also marketing too. Architects are terrible at marketing in
yes.
general. So because the bar is kind of low, I felt there's less of a risk, put it that way, of like, let's just try stuff. If we make mistakes, it's fine. We'll own up to it and keep going. Try to be easy to work with, more or less. It'd be so nice if I could figure out a way to provide services that are like next level. Like, oh, we love work. Like we drive our clients around in nice cars to see stuff. Like I would love to get to that point.
So at what point did you get to recognize that you would need staff, and what was the first hire?
Oh yeah. So the problem with starting your own firm and working out of your basement, during the day, you do all the office, the things that require office hours. So I'm calling the permit office, I'm talking to clients, I'm networking, all the things that waking hours humans are doing. I have to get out there and promote the firm and do projects somehow, like get things along and consultants, contractors, and authorities, permits. Then at night, I get to draft like that. Then I can sit at a computer and like design stuff. That's not a sustainable model. Like that's 24 hour. Like you can't do that. You can't
Yeah.
sustain that.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I can't, if I'm drafting during the day, that means I'm not finding new projects. I'm not finding new networks and things like that. So it became apparent. I think it was around either 2017 or 2018. It was in that zone. It was like, I need to hire someone. Where should I go? And I think someone from Humber reached out and was like, "Oh, we've got some new grads from their architectural technology program." And that was my first hire, was Tanya. And she's now gone off. She's gotten her technologist license, and she's got her own firm. And yeah, she stayed with me for 4 years, something like that, and like really shaped and molded a lot of new projects and ways to do things. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was a big part of the firm. But yeah, she was employee one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then now, what does it look like? How many
We're
people?
five. We're four plus me, and we actually shrank. Last year we got up to something like 7 or 8 people, and it was a
Okay.
little too much. It was not a little too much. It was too much. Like
Okay.
I physically couldn't talk to everyone in a span of a week, and that's problematic. Like I'm a social beast. I need to be able to know, like what's going on, how are you doing, what can I help you with, kind of thing. If I can't even talk to my staff in a week, and it's like that's problematic.
Right.
So yeah,
So you
so
right
we're
side.
five. We're four
You
plus
you
one.
right sized it.
Yeah, yeah. So now it's kind of righting that ship and kind of recalibrating to the current markets and things like that, like the economy.
Yeah.
We're a nice size, and everyone has been with me for a couple of years. So like my longest serving is Kevin, who's actually the second. I think he's technically second hire. He's been with me now almost 7 years, six
Okay.
and a bit. Samin was also that same summer or early spring, 6 7 years.
Okay.
Um,
So it's a
and yeah,
good tenure of some people.
yeah, yeah.
And what have the projects looked like over the last couple of years? Have you been
Yeah,
acquiring
yeah.
more of what you wanted?
I mean, more of my, I want to do less projects for better fees. That's kind of the goal,
Yeah.
because for so long in the firm, we've been doing lots of little projects for crumbs, for like next to nothing kind of thing.
Yep.
We would love to do less projects with more fees. So part of that is we were on some pre-qual list for education school boards. So we
Yep.
do some renovation kind of stuff for bathrooms, windows, things like that. That's kind of good, stable work. Commercial stuff usually pays pretty good, but it's fast and it's like hot and heavy. So that's going well. The residential side's always tricky because it's hard to convince any homeowner who might have maybe middle high income that it's going to cost this much for an architect. I usually then have to tell them, it's like, well, how much did you pay your real estate agent to buy that house? Or, and they're like, oh yeah, actually you're being paid less than the realtor. Like, so that usually helps put things into perspective on how much service we have to offer to just get paid what a realtor would make, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Um, it's crazy. Well, I mean, it's not great. Like in general, North Americans don't value
Service.
architecture or
Well,
services in that way,
services. Services.
services.
Yeah.
More of like in Europe, they're like, oh, I'm doing a bathroom renovation. I hire an architect. It's just
Yeah.
like, that's what you do first,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So,
Yeah, I was actually talking to a guy that used to work at Zaha Hadid's office, among many other like high quality,
yeah,
internationally renowned practices, who teaches now in China.
yeah,
And he was saying like the project managers out there, like they all have master's degrees. Like you're
yeah,
not working in construction out there without a master's degree.
yeah. That's wild. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
So
Anyway, so yeah. Where was I? I don't even remember what we were talking
no,
about,
so
but
we were talking about staffing, and then we were talking about
yeah,
projects and the variety and scale of projects and the
yeah.
education
I could
providing to
even
the client.
I could tell you a little bit about like during the pandemic, everyone wanted a new kitchen, everyone wanted a new office in their house.
Yeah,
So just home 100%. So our project base went to like 95% residential. It was just like house renovations all day
right.
long. And that's actually, we started expanding because we were doing so many of them. Now it's swung, essentially since last year, it's swung completely to the opposite direction of commercial
Oh,
projects
really?
where there's all these there's all these vacancies across the city because of the pandemic and because of the economy. So all these vacancies that other savvy business people were like, oh, I can rent that and I can open my
Right.
restaurant or I can open my cafe or doctor's office or whatever it is,
Yeah.
because there's so many openings. So like commercial has lit up on that side. Residential has gone. It started when the interest rates started to peak. Then like our projects really, like I think three of them paused, and like
Yeah.
the residential side really kind of dried up. And now we're seeing residential kind of start to grow again, oddly enough. Right now it's December 2025. Interest rates have kind of held. It hasn't dropped, but people have adjusted to it. And they're
Yep.
like, our family still needs that extra bedroom or it still needs that new kitchen. So they're coming back, or they're buying new houses. People are, out of partially desperation. They need more space or whatever it is. So we're landing some new projects residential wise. It's started to light up a little bit. So
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah. And the institutional stuff, it just kind of happens. And like we have that just going on.
Right.
It's kind of
Right.
like this locomotive that just keeps running.
That's good.
Yeah.
Solar powered.
Solar powered. Yeah, yeah, even better. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, especially if you don't need to stop for coal.
yeah. Cool.
Um,
Yeah.
coal. I can't believe I just went there.
Yeah.
Um,
We're
and
talking
so
about
what?
steam. No,
All
I'm kidding.
right. Earlier in the conversation, Jason talked about standing along the Ganges River at daybreak, watching the light hit the water, the movement, the colors, the sense of ritual and humanity tied to something as elemental as water. That image really stayed with me. Water has a way of bringing together art, experience, and emotion in a way that very few architectural elements can. And that's why Quanta Pools resonates so strongly with the way Jason thinks about design. A Quanta Pools approaches pool design as an artistic and environmental expression, not just an installation. Whether you are working in concrete, exploring a biodesign approach that feels completely natural, or choosing a highly crafted mosaic finish, the flexibility is there. You are not locked into a single aesthetic or system. You have options, and they are thoughtfully executed. What makes a Quanta different is that they look after the entire process: design, permitting, construction, and even winter conditions. However, if you want to work with them on design, you can do that too. When timelines matter and we are building through colder months, they will construct full shelters over the pool area so work can continue without delay. That level of planning and execution is not common, and it shows a clear commitment to hitting target dates, doing the work properly, and respecting the broader construction schedule. The impact you get from a Quanta Pools is significant, yet it comes in at a price point that is often less than many comparable options. More design freedom, more control, and fewer compromises. It is a focused, disciplined approach that blends art, nature, and technical execution, something we value deeply and something we hope to do a lot more of in the future in working with Aquanta. If you want to learn more, feel free to email me. It's Jonathan, JONATHAN, at waldenhomes.ca, and I'll connect you with Yuri and his fantastic team. Now, let's get back to the conclusion of my discussion with Jason. What are some of the ambitions of your practice on a go forward basis? Is there a certain type of project that you haven't been able to do yet that you want to do?
Yeah,
Is there a
I would.
certain location you'd like to work in that you haven't had the opportunity or been
Uh,
afforded the opportunity?
I would love to work around the world, but my license is located in Ontario, so I'm licensed to practice here. I would love to partner with other firms to design stuff in other countries or wherever. Like, I'm open to that. If people want that, feel free to reach out to me. But in terms of typologies, like I've never done a church. I would love to see what that side of spirituality. I'm not hugely spiritual, but I grew up Roman Catholic, less so now, but at the same time, like that is a universal. Many people are very spiritual. There's many different religions. It would be so cool to see some kind of church or synagogue or mosque or something. Would be really kind of a neat project to me in my head. And there's also even just the historic preservation or historic renovation of old churches that are now becoming residential
Condos.
buildings or
Yeah.
condos or
Yeah.
commercial space or whatever it is. I'd love to do something like that too if that's the next. If that is, I mean, that's a stone's throw with dealing with an old spiritual building. But that's always been kind of a dream. But at the same time, grass is always greener. I love the things that we're doing currently, and so I have to keep my mind. I have to keep my head in the game
Yeah, of course.
because who knows?
Yeah, but
It could be a huge headache. I don't know.
I also strongly believe that if there's something out there that you want, you got to talk it into existence.
Yeah,
So,
that's a real thing.
you
That's a
know,
real thing.
you never want to stop thinking about the aspirations of what you will set out for yourself on your professional path. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess I firmly believe in that.
You gotta will it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And so, what do you like to do now? In terms of your own personal time, what do you like to do for yourself? What
yeah.
are some
So
of your
I
hobbies? What are some of your what methods of getting rid of your transgressions?
I mean, I love film. I love movies, and so that's always been everything that I know is basically from movies, like everything that and The Simpsons essentially. So I love going to the movies. I love watching movies. Less my wife, less so. She loves documentaries, which I gladly watch too. But sometimes I don't need. Sometimes I just need junk food, essentially.
Yep.
And so movies in general, I love.
Course. Okay.
That's big downtime for me.
Hold on.
Um,
I'm a movie guy,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
big time. So, okay, give me some of your favorites. I'm just curious. I want to
Oh well,
know.
it's simple as like Back to the Future is like I watch Back to the Future every year, like all three of them, no problem, like easily. And like
You were not alone on that one. I join you.
You know, it's like Back to the Future 1 is like a perfect movie. It's, Back to the Future 2 is also equally as good. And Back to the Future 3, you have this Western thing that's like, what the hell's going on here? But it's like, after a few watches, like, this is actually really enjoyable. So that, you got the Star Wars, obviously, like, I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's a big part of my life. Lord of the Rings, big part of my life. Easiest way to get through an all-nighter is to have it in the background, all three movies. You can get to morning, daybreak without looking at the bed.
When those movies came out, my buddies and I, we did a marathon. We watched the first two and we set up an agenda for the day.
Yeah.
And we watched the first one at one buddy's house, and then we all broke. And then when we came back together about 45 minutes later, we had pizza, and then we watched number 2, and then we broke again, and then we went to a midnight show of the third one.
That's awesome.
And my one buddy was leaving on a trip like 4:30 in the morning, because I think the show ended like 3.
Oh God!
So he just went straight from like Yorkdale to the airport.
That's close enough. I mean, yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, and then like, I love and like So I grew up relatively sheltered. I was in Markham. Yeah. My world was really small. When I went to university, all of a sudden there's this whole world that, even in high school, there's a whole world that I was like, oh, I don't know anything, kind of thing. Even more so in undergrad. So then people were like, oh, you haven't seen Pulp Fiction, or you haven't seen. So I had at one point in my life, I had a running list of movies I hadn't seen. So it's like Shawshank and Forrest Gump and Apollo 13 and like a lot of Tom Hanks movies and like The Godfather and like, so then a lot of evenings I would just be either renting the movies, or this is predating Netflix.
Yeah, this is like you're going like Video 99 if you're living.
Yeah.
Like
Blockbuster. Yeah. It's pretty wild. So yeah, I consumed a lot of that opened my world. That way.
Shawshank is a movie that I watch pretty much like once a year.
So good. And that came out, that was the same year as Forrest Gump. And there's like a bunch of movies from that year that's like really good.
I think same year as Quick and the Dead.
Yeah, I think. I actually don't know. But that's also a great movie. That was always running on TV. Not space. Anyway.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then I also have a 1.5-year-old. Like I have a son, and so that's taking up a lot of my time. Is at 4:30 I'm out of here, and it's like gotta see my kid.
Parenthood. Yeah. The joy of parenthood. It's a joy.
Yeah.
Jason, honestly, man, thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
What fun it has been chatting with you in your candor. Just unadulterated honesty, and it's really nice. And to be frank, having heard your story, I'm really glad to know that you've been able to come from where you've come from and also establish yourself in a business that has been successful for almost now 10 years. So,
almost 10 years. Yeah.
Right. Like it's not a small feat, man. So congratulations to you on that, because it's a hard thing to run a practice and to sweat about when you're getting your next project, to keep the lights on and keep people employed and put value in the human equity that you have for staff. So kudos to you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks so much. I mean, we're still figuring things out.
Yeah. Who isn't?
Yeah.
Foster's is still figuring things out. Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, he gets to drive his sports car, and I mean, he's pretty old. But I saw him get out of this like gull wing door thing. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, the one of one. Yeah, I know.
The one of one.
Yeah. So. Well, look, man. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
If that's what you want, you got to talk it into existence.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
It's a pleasure, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Cheers.
Cheers.